to start like we usually do here, seated up, finding all that length through our spine. We're going to chin tuck back for 10. Let's get ready and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Let's check in on all that length through the spine. Make sure it's still there. We're going to do our head turns side to side now. Ready? And begin. 1, back to center. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, we're going to get into the timed part of our warm-up now. We're going to do 4 moves for about 1 minute each here. So we're going to start with our cherry pickers to our arm circle, out, middle, in, circle back, okay? Out, middle, in, circle back. If you're seated, same thing, just keep that space between your feet there. Let's get ready and begin. Here we go. Just warming up the back side of the legs here as we're reaching down, okay? Warming up our shoulders as we stand up and sweep those arms back. I'm not locked out at my knees. My legs are pretty straight, right? But I'm not locked out, okay? So there's still a soft bend in my knees when I'm reaching down here. We're just doing 1 round, 1 minute of each move, okay? Ten more seconds here. We're going to go into those side steps with a goalpost arm. Here we go. All right, so next move, 1 minute here. Okay, if the goalpost arm gets to be too aggressive, you can bring it down to our like our lateral raise here, okay? If you're seated, you're doing an alternating lateral tap. And same thing, if this becomes too aggressive on your arms and shoulders here, start bringing them up, okay? We're about halfway. Ten more seconds here. We're going to go into a lateral windmill shift. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, if you're standing, nice and wide, okay? Nice and wide with that stance. Sinking the hip back, reaching towards the opposite foot. Okay, so one hip bends, the other one is lengthened, okay? If we're seated, we're keeping that wide stance. Reach back to center. Reach back to center, okay? You're standing with me here. When you're coming back up to standing center, push through that foot, okay? Push through the heel, right? That's going to help activate that glute. One side at a time. We've got 10 more seconds here. And then we're going to do a backstroke rotation as our final move. And it's going to look the same, seated or standing. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so backstroke rotation, hands in front. We're going to backstroke, follow that hand with our eyes, and then sweep it back around. Backstroke around, okay? If you're standing, it's the same. Just trying to watch that hand with your gaze to the best of your ability here. – Almost there. We got about 10 more seconds. Then we're going to move into our workout. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I did a little bit of a hybrid today. We're going to do all one sweep like we normally do, but the first round, we're going to do 4 exercises where we do A, B, A, B, where we do 2 rounds of the first 2 before we move on to 2 rounds of the second 2. Okay, after that, we're going to go right into 1 round of 2 exercises, either on either side or just different exercises for 1 round. And then we're going to repeat an A, B again, and then 1 round. We'll just get into it. You'll follow along with me as we do it here. We're starting the first 2 we're going to do rope pull. So whether you're seated or standing, all right, we're grabbing something. It's like we're ripping something away and pulling that elbow straight back, right? And we're doing it with some intensity, like we mean it, right? We're going to keep our core and glutes engaged if we're standing. And if we're seating, you don't have to worry about that as much. We're just going to focus on that intensity, okay? After we do that, we are going to go into goalpost fly with internal and external rotation. We've got 2 rounds of these first 2 moves, okay? So let's get ready here. 45:15 is the timer, okay? Starting with that rope pull, body weight movement. We're going to try to bring the intensity with us, okay? Let's get ready and begin. So if you're standing with me, think of keeping your glutes squeezed and kind of tucked. That'll help give you that leverage to give your strongest pull down here. We're actually working our lat muscles here, those big muscles in our back around our rib cage, and some biceps too. Bringing your best intensity to it. 2 and 1. Okay. This next one, I recommend body weight or a 1-pound dumbbell or water bottle. It's nothing more in here because we're really focused on shoulder mobility. Ready? And begin. Pulling back, down, up, together. Think of, if you're standing with me, okay, think of this pelvic tuck right here, okay? We want that so we have nice leverage as we pull back here, okay? Because what happens if I'm not actively conscious, or if I'm not conscious and I'm not tucking, I might overextend my lower back as I'm trying to do this in an effort to get my elbows to pull back, right? So keep that pelvis tucked. We want to think about how our shoulders and our hips work together in patterns. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Shake it out. We're going back to our rope pull, okay? All righty. Let's get ready. Tuck the pelvis and begin. Your quickest pull down you can, all right? Try to use your muscles to perform that quickness. You might notice your body temperature rise with this one because you're bringing intensity. Two and 1. Whew. Feel that round 2. Okay, so recover. We're going back to those goalpost flies with our internal and external rotation. 1 pound, no pound, or water bottles, okay? Here we go. We're going to think about, if you're standing with me, that pelvic tuck. Ready? And begin. Pull it back. Internal rotation, external rotation together. Always want to think about how the foundation of success in your workout is healthy joints, right? You know, if we're trying to build on joints that aren't super healthy, it's going to be a lot harder. Okay, so taking the time to do movements just like the one we're doing now encourages good joint mobility here. 3, 2, and time. Okay, next 2 exercises are our goblet squat. Okay, we're alternating leg extension if we're seated. All right, and then I'll tell you the next one when we get there. Okay, here we go. Heels are about hip to shoulder width apart. We're going to sink it back and down. Keep that chest high. Push the floor away. Squeeze the quads and glutes. Belly button to spine. Ten more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay, next one. Lighter weights here. We're going to hinge. We're going to do 2 rows. Stand it up, hammer curl, press. Bring it back, okay? Ready? Begin. Here we go, seated. 2 rows. 1, 2. Stand it up, upright, hammer curl, overhead press. If you need to, take the overhead press out. Row, row. Stand back up, hammer curl, press. Bring it back, okay? Three, 2, and 1. Okay, going back to our goblet squat or our seated alternating leg extension. Ready? And begin. Back and down, pushing the floor away. Trying to stay dialed in, feeling those muscles work. Remember, a little exercise discomfort is okay as long as it's not that acute, sharp pain. Three, 2, and 1. Okay. Moving back to our 2 rows, hammer curl, overhead press. Feet under hips, toes forward, roll shoulders back and down. Ready? Begin. Hinge, push the hips back, row, row, just like our hinge in a row, like our staple. Then we hammer curl, bring it up. Remember, if the overhead press is too much, just take it to 2 rows to a hammer curl. Two and 1. Okay, we're going into our wood chopper to knee raise. We're all going to take a seat, and we're just doing 1 round on each side, okay? So you're going to exhale and chop over the body. Here we go. So we chop. We can add that knee, okay? All on the same side. Remember, you could always take the knee raise out too and just keep it with the chop. Five more seconds. And time, okay? Recover. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then we're moving right into our next AB, AB, okay? Let's set up for that wood chopper on the other side. Option to add that knee raise. Ready and begin. So we start at the top of one shoulder and we sweep it down and across to the opposite hip. Nice, strong exhale as you rotate through. And time on those. Okay, moving right along, we're gonna go into a hinge, okay? So instead of adding our row, like our hinge and row, we're just hinging. We're gonna keep our knuckles facing in front of us and the dumbbells close to the body as we push our hips back and then use our hamstrings and glutes to stand up, okay? Here's our standing variation. Notice how flat my back is. Okay, my shoulders are packed. If we're seated, one dumbbell, keep all the length in your spine, slight lean forward, exhale back up. Slight lean forward, keeping all the length in your spine, exhale back up, okay? Let's keep it going here. 2, 1, okay. Next one is our lateral shift. So like in our warm up here, okay, we're gonna shift, drive to center, shift, drive to center, okay? You're seated, let's begin. Alternating lateral taps, okay? Here we go. Keep this body weight dialing in. We're searching for all the connections we can to make our exercise successful. Heel on the floor, pressing down into the floor to lift us back up, searching for muscle engagement and contraction as we do that. We're going to go back to our hinge pattern next. 3, 2, and 1, okay? So, 2 weights again, rolling your shoulders back and down. My knuckles are staying forward, okay? And I'm keeping the dumbbells close to my legs. Ready? And begin. Nice neutral spine. Remember, shoulders need to be packed. You want to think as your hips push back horizontally, you're squeezing your hamstrings and glutes when they push forward horizontally. And hamstrings, the back of your thighs and your glutes here. Belly button pulled back. 15 more seconds here. Three, 2, and 1. Okay. Moving back to our lateral shift or lateral taps if you're seated here. Really wide stance, toes are forward. Ready? And begin. Press it away. Press it away, okay? Time you press away, I'm focused here, here, a little bit on the inner thigh too. Just try to feel those muscles contracting when your mind tells them to. almost like you're creating extra resistance. If that makes sense. Three, two, and one. Okay, next two, we are going to do our bow and arrow row. We're going to keep it body weight for this one. Knuckles facing the ceiling. Keep your hips forward as you rotate back. Okay, this is going to look the same seated. Keep those elbows shoulder height. Don't let them drop. Your shoulders, your elbows, and your hands should all be in the same plane. Three, two, and one. Okay, next one, single leg bicep curl balance, okay? Half and half. Rolling those shoulders back and down. Keep the elbows close to the rib cage. Let's pick a side to start. Find a point to stare at. And if you're seated, this is the same thing. You're just doing it from a seated position. I'll tell you when to switch your legs. Three, two, and one. Switch lead legs. Three, two, and one. Okay, going back to that bow and arrow row. All right, so keeping everything at the same height here. There we go. Following that elbow pulling back with my hand, with my eyes. And I'm focused on trying to keep my hips forward as I rotate through my upper body and my shoulders. All right, so I'm disassociating my hips from my shoulders here. My hips are staying still, but I'm creating movement in my shoulders. If you're seated, this just is going to happen naturally, okay? Three, two, and time on these. Okay, back to our single leg bicep curls, and then we're gonna go into our next core pair for one round. Let's pick a lead leg. Elbows close to the rib cage, ready, and begin. Let's switch sides. Stare at that focal point. Two, and one. Okay, next two, we're gonna do our 4 Russian twists. We're all gonna sit here, right? Okay, towards the edge of my chair. This is where we twist for 4. And then open our hands up forward, reach forward, bring it back. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to center. Extend, bring it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Center, arms, reach, back. 1, 2, Reach and back. One more. 2, 3, 4. And time. Okay. Next one, we're going to do that overhead hold, scooping our core with the toe to heel. Okay, so opposite heel to toe here. If the overhead hold becomes too hard, you can bring it forward on the chair. Okay. Opposite heel and toe. Keeping that C curve through the spine. Pulling the belly button back towards the spine. It's a lot of focus. If it gets really aggressive, try bringing your hands down lower first before you give up. And then if it feels like, oh gosh, like it's a lot, take a little rest, okay? Trying to keep the movement still in the upper body and just working on the heel to toe tap. 3, 2, and time. All right, nice work, guys. So take a little drink here. We're gonna go back through, take it through one more round all the way through now. No more AB. We're just gonna do one exercise after another, okay? So from all the way back to the top, rope pull, okay? All right, let's start in 10 seconds here. All right, remember, rope pull if you're standing with me. We want that nice little pelvic tuck to keep everything nice and solid and stable here in our trunk. Ready? Begin. Bring that intensity, right? This is where you want to work on what does it feel like for me to try to do something swiftly and with power. Three, 2, and 1. Okay, all done with those. Our goalpost fly with internal and external rotation. So we're still going to think about if you're standing with me, tucking that pelvis, okay? Ready? And begin. Goalpost fly, internal rotation, external, bring it together. Ten more seconds here. 3, 2, and time. Okay, all done with those. Goblet squats. Remember, if you're seated, alternating leg extension. Okay, your feet are about hip to shoulder width apart. Let's get ready and begin. Sink the hips back and then down. Push the floor away. Fifteen more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, combo move. Hinge, 2 rows, stand it up, hammer curl, press. Bring it back, okay? Some cognitive work here, guys. Here we go. Roll those shoulders back and down. Hinge, row, row, stand it back up, hammer curl, press. Bring it back, okay? Intentional with each part of the movement, okay? Don't try to rush through it. and take out the overhead press if need be. Five more seconds here. 3, 2, and time. Okay, wood choppers. All right, back to that core move. We're gonna pick one side to start with. All reps on one side, then all on the other. Here we go. Remember, our knee raise is optional. Make every rep intentional. Not trying to rush through it. Trying to set yourself up each time you get to the top here. All right. 10 more seconds on this side. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Recover. So have to get that other side. Let's get ready. And here we go. Maintaining that length in your spine as we set up for each repetition. Three, 2, and 1. Okay, all done with those. All right, now we're going back into that hinge, our Romanian deadlift, okay? So if you're seated, you're gonna hold the weight up, keep all the length in your spine, okay? Shoulders back and down, knuckles in front, okay? Keep the dumbbells, almost like you're sliding them down your shins, okay? About halfway down your shins, okay? And then you're pulling with your hamstrings and glutes to push those hips back forward. Push the hips back, and now push the hips forward. Push the hips back, forward. Okay, keeping those dumbbells close to the body helps ensure that we're pushing the hips in the right direction. 10 more seconds here. Working the back of the legs, glutes. 2, and 1. All done with those. Body weight, lateral shift here, okay? Wide stance, whether you're seated or standing. Toes forward. Ready? And begin. Reach towards the opposite side. Press it back up to center if you're standing. Sometimes keeping a move body weight helps increase our ability to connect our mind and muscle. It can be a little more challenging sometimes when we're holding a weight and it's there's more intensity. Three, 2, and time on those. Okay, bow and arrow row is next. Okay, we're gonna follow our elbows sliding back with our eyes, and we're keeping our wrist, our elbow, and our shoulder all on that same plane. Okay, nothing's coming down lower here. Let's keep the hips forward. If you're seated, that will naturally happen. You have to put a little more thought into it if you're standing. Disassociating our shoulders from our hips with this particular movement. Three, two, and one. Okay, all done with those. Single leg bicep curl. Shoulders back and down, elbows stay close to the rib cage. Let's pick a lead leg. Ready? Begin. Find that spot to stare at. Let's switch sides. Ooh. And time. Okay. Final two exercises. Back to those core exercises, starting with our Russian twist to our reach forward, right? So we're a little bit towards the edge of our chair, so we have room to lean back with our twist. Here we go. Twist. 2, 3, 4. Bring it to center. Reach with extended arms. Bring it back. Fold the arms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Center. Reach. Bring it back. Reach. 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. All right, guys. Final exercise. We have our overhead reach with that scoop, okay? Heel, toe, opposite heel and toe, right? On the camera, here we go. Okay, if it gets, here we go. If it gets to be too much, bring the arms down, okay? The lower you bring them, the more relief you'll get. And see what happens if you slow it down versus speed it up. When you slow it down, you might feel a little more burn. Ten more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work, everyone. Go ahead and round that back here. I'll do a couple cat-cows after holding that core. And one more here. All right. So let's go ahead and get into our cool down here. And we're going to start with our neck and trap. We'll start up the body and work our way down. So gently going to pull and reach with the opposite hand here. And when you're ready, same thing, other side. Good. And then from here, we're going to do a lateral bend. Okay, so we'll take one side. We'll bring it up and over. If you'd like, you can grab onto that wrist to get a little bit of a deeper stretch through their side, our lat here. You don't have to, though. And same thing, other side. Reach and bend, side body stretch. Good. Let's bring it back to center. Now let's go ahead and rotate to one side, putting a little leverage on that outside thigh. looking behind that shoulder the best we can and just holding in our twist. And then when you're ready, arc the arms over and do the same thing on the other side here. And then bring it back to center. Take it into our figure 4 here, crossing one leg over, all that length in the spine, slightly lean over, feeling that stretch through our side glute here. And then before we do that on the other side, let's flex and point our ankle. Can't forget about those. And then give me circles 5 each direction. And then we'll repeat those 2 on the other side, length through the side, crossing that leg, slight lean over, searching for that side glute sensation there. Good. And when you're ready, flex and point for 5. And circles 5 each direction. All right, guys, let's take a big inhale up. Exhale. Palms to heart one more time. And palms to heart. All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed today's workout. I'll do my best if you have any questions to answer them for you. Yeah, so some fat burning stuff. So think in terms of intervals when you're doing something like that. Think of maybe like a body weight move in particular that maybe, gets your heart rate up, right? That could be like, when we do like jacks or something like this, okay? The more joints we have in our body moving at the same time, right? So like our squat and reach, okay, we got a lot of moving parts in our body, right? Think of a body weight exercise that elevates your heart rate, okay? And that, remember, the quality of it is important. So don't go so fast that you lose the integrity of the movement. But if you do that for a timed period of time, okay? So let's say for 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, okay? You're going to do your modified jumping jacks here, okay? And then you're going to rest for equal time there, okay? So maybe you do 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, and you do multiple successions of that, okay? You're going to notice that you get enough recovery so that you can perform it for another series of seconds, but it's not so much recovery that your heart rate is not still a little elevated, right? So maybe if you try, and this might not be your exercise, okay? Like I'm not sure which exercise would be good for you. I'm just trying to think of one that I know would elevate my heart rate. Okay, try 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, and try like 4 rounds of that, right? Okay, and just see how you feel. The idea is you want to feel on a scale from 1 to 10. Like you're working pretty good. Like you're over that 5. You're like 7, possibly 8. Okay. It should feel cardiovascular wise, it should feel a little uncomfortable, right? Like there's going to be a point where you want to stop to it. So if you find you do 3 to 4 rounds of 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, and you're not feeling that heart rate response, well, maybe just 15 seconds off, shorten your recovery time there a little bit to see if it gives you that response of feeling like, whew, I'm a little uncomfortable. I can't wait till I can stop this, right? So that is the trick, like that higher intensity with our heart rate is the trick to helping us with fat burning. And you know what else is really good for fat burning? Walking. Going for a beautiful walk outside, okay? Steady state walking is also a wonderful activity for fat burning. So that would be, if you're not looking for the high intensity side of things, a walk outside might be the right thing for you. I hope that was helpful. Yeah, I would say, little things like even like bringing your knees into your chest while you're in there. That's going to help kind of like, um, uh, pull, stretch out your spine there. So if you just bring your knees into your chest while you're laying down, right? You might even find you take one leg up and, you stretch the back of your leg. You might flex and point. You might even find you're laying down, you drop your knees from one side to the other, just trying to like gentle movement, right? It's basically we're saying, hey, body, wake up. I know you've been laying like this for X amount of hours. So it's very gentle first thing in the morning. And then like I would say once you get out of bed, like think of your spine from the top of your head down to your hips, right? So like little neck movements, right? Little shoulder rolls, okay? Little cat cows creeping our way down, all right? And then something like some hip circles, okay? So now we've just talked to our spine from the top to the bottom. And remember, that house is our central nervous system, right? This is like where all our, what do you call it? The fluid, why am I losing my words here? Central nervous system, all the fluid and everything like that. Like we want everything in our spine to be feeling like it's moving properly. So I suggest in the morning time, just thinking about neck, shoulders, thoracic spine, cat cow, and hips, hip circles. Okay. So that would be a nice, as soon as you stand up out of bed, maybe even before you brush your teeth, do like a series of 10 of each. So hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, lying down. I love the lying down figure 4. We do it seated when we're here because we're in that type of class. But if you're you're still in bed, you might want to pull one leg up just like this. If it's really hard, you might even grab a strap. Like a robe tie or something like that. And you can pull that behind, so you don't feel like you're straining to try to grab anything. So yeah, I would say figure 4s. And then side, little knee drops side to side, help open up our hips, right? Things like that. That's subjective. Some people can wake up in the morning and they're okay to just have like, their coffee, depending on the level of exercise. But I would always say, you don't want to eat a really heavy meal and then go work out, right? You want to have energy from your nutrition, but you don't want to feel full when you're working out. So sometimes maybe like a light something before your workout, a half hour beforehand. Or if it's a bigger meal, you're sitting down, you're having lunch with some friends or something like that, you might want to wait like 2 hours after your workout because you consumed more energy, right? Like more calories, right? So small meal, half hour, just enough to give you energy before your workout, And then, if it's just something you're like, I have a big breakfast date or something, let me wait until lunchtime to do my workout then. Give yourself a few more hours so you don't feel like, indigestion or anything like that.